Hi everyone, welcome to our session. My name is Dimitra Maria Katsoli and I am an SAP Solutions Product Owner at SUSE, part of the PM team and focusing on SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP Application 16 and High Availability 16. The past year we've been in close collaboration with QE, SLE, release engineers and development teams to ensure the best strategies in order to deliver quality products. And my colleague, Dr. Ulrich Seirer, is an SAP Solutions Architect and working directly at SAP Linux Lab. He is responsible for the validation of containerized SAP applications on SUSE platforms, and he also takes care of the pre-validation of new SUSE products for SAP workloads. Now let's take a quick look on the agenda. We're going to introduce SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP Application 16, and talk a little bit about what's changed, what's new, and then Dr. Ulrich will guide you through the installation, migration, and give you an overall overview on what to expect included in the new operating system. A short introduction. As mentioned, we mostly are based working on the SAP Linux Lab for SUSE. The SAP Linux Lab has been founded in 1999, almost 26 years ago, by SAP, different software and hardware vendors, to create a place for close collaborations, co-innovations all around Linux. Linux is the #1 operating system for all SAP platforms. For example, HANA Database was first released on SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP applications, was created on Linux, runs only on Linux, and all the software was developed on Linux with Linux compilers and so on and so forth. So if you're still wondering why SUSE Linux for SAP workloads, well, 70% of all SAP applications run on Linux, 85% of SAP HANA installations, 90% of SAP workloads on Linux and on Azure, 99% of IBM Power, and 100% of Business One deployments. SUSE is the reference platform for RISE with SAP and also owns various internal and external systems by SAP. Over the years, SUSE worked with SAP and ecosystem partners to deliver SAP solutions first on the market. With over 20 years of history of collaboration with SAP, SUSE has over 300 success stories and case studies. Before we get into details, I would like to clarify a few things. We're going to take a look into the future of SLES, which means since we're talking about a product where we're yet a few months before public beta, there's a small chance what we present from this point on to be adjusted down the road. On the bright side, this means that there's still room for feedback, which is highly appreciated, by the way. So what to expect from the next generation Linux to be different? With SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP Application 16, although it is a new operating system, you can expect that it is custom workloads and virtual machines will work with these systems. As before, it's a general purpose operating system and an OS optimized for SAP workloads, tested and certified with SAP. And as expected, SLES and SLE high availability extension. And we also make our operating system available for the following hardware architectures: ARM64, Power64, and for SLES for SAP, Power64 and x86 64. So no great change there. We now offer Network Manager instead of Wicked, Cockpit as a configuration tool, and configuration management using Ansible. If you're using SUSE Multi-Linux Manager, you'll be able to use Salt as well. Moving forward, we had to leave a few things behind. We're no longer providing NAS support. We dropped 32-bit runtime environment, no libraries anymore used for 32-bit runtime, but the kernel can execute 32-bit binaries. We only support systemd. So in general, we gave our focus on tools, revisit what we support, what the customers are using, what technology is relevant, and which things are not used by our customers, so we remove them or replace them. A few more details on SAP HANA systems. System replication resource agents, we now offer a single code base called SAP HANA System Replication ANGI, a code base based on existing implementations and experience, a migration procedure that allows to manually upgrade from classical SAP HANA system replication and SAP HANA system replication scale-out to SAP HANA SR ANGI, and some new features implemented in new code base. Additionally, for ENSA2 certified and ASCS ERS high availability, we now use a single mount for SAP S/4HANA and NetWeaver instead of mainly controlled by the cluster, which means that there's no need for mounting activity during failover and no need to be managed by the pacemaker cluster. SUSE Enterprise Server for SAP Applications 16. It is secure by default. We offer a minimal OS. As mentioned, we designed for SAP workloads, tested and certified by SAP, including SUSE HA extension HAG. Here you can see a bit more context on what to expect on the upcoming release. Of course, we validate SAP workloads, trying to offer deeper operation and automation features. And even though we will have the first use case in SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP 15 and SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP 16, we'll bring them to a next level with things automation, remediation, or OS patching orchestration. We have an updated version on pacemaker and coursing. And on the distributed file system, we now offer GFS2 fully supported, and an upgraded option for tuning, of course. A new code stream always raises some questions. So what about the previous one? When to start switching? SUSE has with CL15 an active maintained product family, which is valid and useful for the next years. If you're using it, there's no need to switch on short notice. The introduction of SP6 and SP7 offers the choice to get a new major kernel version as well as other major components refreshed with SP6. This enables customers to plan the migration to the next code base without the pressure of time. Additionally, I'd like to mention here that we will provide migration support from 15, and we also ensure flexible life cycles for developers. This is actually something we deliver regularly, plus the compiler, but we also want to offer application stacks that are independent of what we have on the OS, which gives the customer the choice to stay on the old version as long as they want to. We are 2038 ready, and we can assure you that we're here for the long run. So some important dates to take with you. We're currently on internal beta stage, trying to ensure the best quality for our customers. Public beta will be available in May. We're expecting our first customer shipment in November. And note here that with SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP Application 16, we offer general support for 1.5 years plus 3 years extended support. Validation will start after and might take from 6 months up to 1 year after first customer shipment, and which gives plenty of time to our customers to plan accordingly without rush. And with that, back to Ulrich.
Thank you, Dimitra. I want to talk a bit about the deployment of the SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP Application 16. So for installation, we offer the probability to install by image. The image can be configured with combustion and ignition or the more classical cloud init way. We also have the possibility to even boot just the image and do some minimal manual configuration during the first boot. The other more classical approach is to start an installer. In this case, this is the new installer Agama, which can be used remotely via web browser. And it's also possible to boot via Pixie and install via network. We also focus on automated installs, now offering, after a basic installation, On top of this base, automation with Ansible playbooks, or if you're running with a SUSE multi-Linux manager, you can even use your salt cookbooks. Customers that used AutoYast in the past may use their AutoYast profiles because the Agama installer can understand these profiles as well. Talking about a bit about the migration scenarios we think about for migrating to SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP Application 16. Most important point would be here the migration from /15 or from for SAP Applications 15. And we are also working on an offline migration path from older versions of SUSE Linux Enterprise Server starting by /11 or /12. As you heard before by Nimitra, there are some changes in the system management of SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP and /16 as well. Focus areas are the automation of /16 installation, and we will offer here the automation framework Ansible, together with ready-to-use run scripts and Ansible roles and playbooks. Now we offer for system management Cockpit and Agama. This enables you to do remote management because they are web-based applications that can be used via a normal web browser. And they are also capable of management of multiple systems using Ansible or Cockpit because they can connect to multiple systems. The benefits of using Agama is that it's a more modern, flexible installer, which can be used via an HTTP API for installation, process, and control. And it has a user-friendly web front end and as well as powerful command line tools. System management includes also the automation framework Ansible, which is widely adopted, and Ansible will be delivered with ready-to-run automation scripts, roles and playbooks for day 1 and day 2 automation, including deploying applications or setting up an SAP high availability cluster. Note, Salt will still be supported with SUSE Multi-Linux Manager. One of the most important aspects in our times is the security question for SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP applications. We offer security updates, of course, we do that. We switched the security framework from AppArmor to SE, Security Enhanced Linux, as the default. And we also will certify our product according common standards like common criteria, DISA, STIC, FIPS, and so on. And we adhere to these standards in our production and deliver our code in according to that. You also will have the choice of having a read-only root file system or a traditional read-writable file system, so minimizing the attack vector on the systems. Another big topic in our days is virtualization. We will now focus on KVM as a hypervisor. We will continue in SAP validations of virtual machines on KVM. The Xen hypervisor will be dropped and not be available anymore. The hypervisor KVM will also be included in the normal SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, in SUSE Linux Enterprise Server for SAP applications, and of course in SUSE Linux Micro. And now I will show you a little preview of the installation of /for SAP 16. First, we boot the ISO image containing the Agama installer. Then you will see the choice of products you have. In this case, we take the SUSE Linux Enterprise Server of SAP Application 16, accept the license. Then we will set the password for the root account, click accept, and then we will see a little overview of the system that will be installed. If you're clicking on the hamburger menu in the top left, then you will see some menu items that enables you to change system settings like localization, software patterns, and all these things. Then you will click on the install button to start the installation. You really have to confirm the installation, and then you can watch the installation process. After a short time, the installation will be finished, and you will see that screen that says congratulations, and that you can now reboot the system. After rebooting, the system will start up in a normal mode. Dimitra and I would like to thank you very much for your attention and hope to see you soon. Thank you.